Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Mike Ennis and I look after Avaya at Westcon. Awesome to see you all here today. I hope you're all having a great day with Imagine. Now if you are part of the first 500 lucky enough contest book entrance into Imagine and you were even more lucky and received a B109, awesome little personal conference device, please make sure that you've posted on LinkedIn today so that you can be in the draw to win the awesome Avaya CU360 huddle room video device. Both of these are awesome devices, and we'd really appreciate it enough to give out one of those to someone here. As for the other sessions today, I encourage you to ask questions via the Q&A, and we'll get to those at the end of the session. It's my pleasure now to introduce our next presenter, Dusty from Avaya. Dusty is going to be talking about some amazing Avaya technology. Over to you, Dusty.
Thanks very much, Michael. Hi, everyone. I'm Dustin Lates, a strategic business consultant at Avaya. And today I'm going to discuss how at Avaya we see the future of people-to-people and people-to-artificial intelligence communications. It's great we can still get together for Westcon Imagine. Great work by the team to put this event together in this format. It seems we're finally getting the uptake of video and collaboration tools that many have been around for many years, but they just haven't quite penetrated the mass usage that we've expected. Our own hosted collaboration platform, Avaya Spaces, has grown 2,500% during April in video collaboration traffic. And in the past 2 months, we've empowered more than 2 million remote workers from companies around the world to allow their employees to work from anywhere. This has enabled our customers to secure the safety of their employees while maintaining productivity, delivering the superior customer experience. And that's absolutely phenomenal growth that we've seen there. It's almost like we've gone through a digital revolution, or have we? And I guess a revolution is defined as a forceful overthrow of a government or social order in favour of a new system. Well, governments haven't actually been overthrown, but there has been a change to the social order with social distancing and other rules. But slowly moving. What we're actually experiencing is the second definition of a revolution, and that's a dramatic and wide-reaching change in conditions, attitudes, or operation. And we've certainly had a wide range in changing conditions. Many are now working from home, remotely, on video, digitally, just like today. Thanks to big changes in attitudes and operations, previous stumbling blocks for many organisations and their digital transformation journeys have been pushed out of the way. There's a tweet that's been posted recently, and I think it sums up the situation pretty well. Who led the digital transformation of your company? It's pretty funny to think that COVID-19 has, but digital transformation has definitely accelerated during COVID-19. What was thought of longer-term futures has been implemented now, but not always in a sustainable way. And revolutionary attributes required to react have meant facets of security, capacity, communications, policy, procedures may have been relaxed outside an organisation's traditional risk appetite. The roadblocks to digital transformation have been temporarily bypassed, and it's given end users and the workforce a taste of new ways of working, more flexibility, less commuting, more time, a better work-life balance. But that work-life balance has actually evolved. We've moved from a work-life balance to an environment of the work-life integration. Being remote and continually connected doesn't necessarily mean more hours work. It means working for you when you can be most productive. Now, for me, it's spending time with my family, taking my son to school in the morning rather than commuting each day. And my manager, my boss, he's in the UK. I have my one-on-one fortnightly at 8 p.m, but it doesn't mean I work till 8 p.m. I chunk up my day and I mix and match when it fits. And this is an evolution, not a revolution. So the work-life integration, it's actually underpinned by the emergence of a hybrid workforce. And just as work-life are becoming integrated, so are three key aspects of the workforce. The first is the convergence of customer experience and the employee experience into the customer experience, employee experience hybrid, or CX-EX hybrid. The second is a shift from working in the office to the home to anywhere, creating a location hybrid. And the third is a rapidly growing technology where artificial intelligence assists us, the human AI hybrid. Looking into the organizations spend millions of dollars on aspects of customer experience each year. There's branding, websites, advertising, mobile apps, storefronts, But when it comes to employees, the spend has been somewhat lacking. You know, it used to be that businesses had the latest technology, networks, PCs, speech recognition, IVRs for customer experience. Now, thanks to many devices we have in our personal lives and homes, this power is now in the hands of the consumers. And you know what? It's native and expected everywhere. And those same consumers are employees who have access to better technology than what some businesses have. Many organisations have a growing digital divide occurring between customers and the frontline staff that have to support them. You know, on average, customers have 11 different channels that they can contact an organisation, and these channels are rarely connected in a useful way for frontline staff, and it even gets worse if they need back office support. So as digital self-service grows and new channels grow, that voice interaction is becoming more sophisticated and more complex in respect to customer queries and expectations. To deal with this requires the convergence of contact center frontline with the back office, but it needs to be in line with the customer communication applications and trends. So recently, the big one is persistent messaging. You know, you've got WhatsApp, Apple Business Chat, being able to start a conversation now, pick it up later and continue it later on, and that's a key focus that we're seeing many organisations as they evolve from just normal chat and email. But they need to be thinking how to bring more complex voice and other channels into that experience, and also the back office when that support is needed. And to do this requires an open architecture, such as a widget framework that can align customer applications with the contact center applications, and then integrated with the back office collaboration tools. Widgets or applications that we can add and remove based on that customer interaction or work required. So as an example, in Avaya Oceania workspaces for the contact center, a home loan agent can access the availability or presence of a loan assessor working on that particular home loan, you know, and that can be suggested from the context of what's happening in that current interaction with a customer, whether it's on a chat, a voice call, or an email, or video, or however. The key is they're being able to bring in those resources and be able to see them rather than be siloed channels. As we come out of COVID-19, many organisations will be rethinking their business models, and the ability to design and deploy new channels and methods of interactions for contact centres and the wider business to drive the best customer experience. To take an example of travel agents, you know, hundreds of stores have recently been closed, and many of them are actually unlikely to open again. That trust in the face-to-face interaction that used to have a travel agent by going to the store was actually a key to that business model. You know, regardless of online bookings, there's still a lot of people, and growing, you know, wanting that support. But going forward, now is the time right for video applications to be used with rich media to interact. You know, I can go to a travel website, bring in a video call, and, you know, that agent being able to present not only themselves, but things about destinations, videos, and rich media on top. Executed correctly, the physical location of the travel agent, you know, it really does become irrelevant and a lot more powerful in the moment of that purchase. So talking about locations, when we look into the location hybrid, I think we're going through the biggest test and learn experiment the world's pretty much ever seen. Now, almost every traditional office role is being trialled in a remote or work from home environment. And this presents, you know, a number of social challenges and operational challenges. You know, how do you meet? How do you chat? How do you organise? How do you manage those staff and agents who have not traditionally been used to it? So traditionally, collaboration tools have been allocated to non-customer facing staff and primarily used for the video and the chat function. You know, are you going to lunch? Yep, I am. And again, you know, we've seen a 2,500% increase during April of these tools. And these tools are primed for all roles working remotely, particularly those frontline and contact center staff where they haven't previously been used. You know, running a team meeting on video for agents is probably the first use case you can think of, but there's a lot more than that. And being able to provide information dissemination, not just by video in those team meetings, but, you know, the social aspects of being able to leave a post or tasks or share files inside that one application. Or even access to supervisors when you're remote. In a contact center, you can raise your hand when you've got a problem and the supervisor comes trotting over to help you out. But when it's remote, it becomes difficult and costly. An agent waiting in a queue to call a supervisor or chat with a supervisor costs a lot of money and has a very big impact in that wait time and customer experience. So using a collaboration tool that's not just video and chat like Avaya Spaces, it has presence of the supervisor, ways to chat, ways to provide learning through posts and sharing of documents that can be retained and searched and found instantly, and for assistance is a huge benefit for working remotely and keeping the communications intact. Training and upskilling is another big one. As we move forward, how do you ensure that all staff are up to date with changing policies, procedures? Airlines are changing cancellation policies almost daily, and with staff that are being furloughed and then bringing back on, there's going to be quite a demand to train, bring them up to speed, and if they're remotely, that situation is it's increased tremendously. So being able to have a simple location that's team-based, how you're working in the office, but at home in that same sort of environment is key to the success. And speaking of access, in Australia and New Zealand, along with the run on toilet paper that we've had, particularly here, there's been a run on devices as well. There's places like our big box stores of Officeworks, and they've all sold out of monitors, video cameras, headsets, and that's really because people are spending that money on their own devices. They expect that high quality, and people are understanding that I might have a great set of Bose headsets that are really good for noise cancellation for music I'm hearing, but they're not as good as a purpose-built headset that has noise cancelling in the microphone. When you're on video, it's important that what you're broadcasting is just as good as the audio you're receiving and the noise cancellation of the environment around you. So, everyone wants to have the best devices to make the remote working experience as good, if not better, than those personal device expectations. And we've sort of moved along and away from people expecting that an organisation will play it. Consumers are now going to start using their own tools on the top of that. So the third part is linked as well, because in those devices, we're seeing a lot of AI and artificial intelligence and assistance all implemented in those bots, in those devices as well. So looking at the human AI hybrid, the really big key here is that, it's to assist, not to replace. And when we look at the human AI hybrid, there are multiple analyst reports relating to artificial intelligence indicating that customers want to leverage AI but either don't know how to or are not able to use it effectively. So Gartner are predicting, and we're seeing that the future AI will assist humans, and this will change the way contact centers work, creating a hybrid workforce of those human-assisted agents. So if you look back to 2017, 52% of agent interactions were completed by agents and 48% self-service. Predictions going forward is that we'll have 64% customer self-service, 15% an agent interaction, and 21% assisted self-service. At first glance, it looks like, that's a reduction, but as we get more and more connected, those interactions are actually increasing, and as the simple interactions are increasing, we're still seeing calls to agents. They haven't disappeared. Some are actually increasing as there's more awareness of what's going on. Take for an example of banking. When real-time banking came about, it was perceived that that would drop call volumes because people would see what's on their account. But what happened was it actually increased call volumes because people could see what was happening on their account when previously they'd wait to the end of the month and see that all transactions have been completed, as opposed to real time when you start seeing, oh, what's that pre-auth? What's that charge? So it's very key to understand that voice is not going away. It's going to continue. And as agent work is becoming more complex and sophisticated, it is increasing. And focusing on assisted self-service, traditionally we think of self-service being provided by a business that we're a customer of. But what if a third party was acting on behalf of that customer? Now, some organisations are already thinking differently, providing services to act on behalf of those customers. For example, in the US, there's an organisation called TRIM. Now, TRIM's a US bot AI service that when you connect your accounts, like your financial utilities and other, Netflix, all those sort of things, it'll analyze your spend, and if required, it will act on your behalf to negotiate a better deal. Now, this is a bot that's taking your data and negotiating with other bots and in chat, and if it gets through to a human, even humans, negotiating better deals for a customer. So think about the effect this will have on existing businesses. Now, a bot doesn't worry about queues, doesn't worry about wait times. It just wants to get the job done. And for an organisation that a bot is interacting with, think of the impacts of staffing and workload and revenue that will have, tying up agents' time while they, negotiate with a bot rather than a person. It's here and it's there. It's now. And we're entering a world where bots and assistants will become far more capable than just telling us the weather and to take a jacket or to set a timer to cook your eggs. But not all bots are chat-based. By 2023, customers will prefer to use speech interfaces to initiate 70% of self-service customer interactions, rising from 40% in 2019. Now, that's a huge jump. And when we look at it, it's a lot about conversation and the way we're changing our communications from the past where we used to write long handwritten letters and emails. Then we ended up with the monumental rise of SMS. We started to shorten and abbreviate communications because of limitations to 160 characters and likewise 140 on Twitter for a long time. What we're seeing now is that we're starting to see the communications expand out again, and that's primarily driven to a lot of the speech searches. Now, a few years ago, Google's speech searches were short phrases such as bank account. Now, they're seeing a big shift to searching terms such as how do I open a bank account? What is the best bank account? So moving back to that full string of conversational sentences. So it seems, speech is not really dead at all. And humans, it seems, intrinsically, we prefer to use speech to communicate. And with devices like the Google Home, conversation is definitely a growing user interface as we go forward. Now, we've had speech recognition IVRs in the past, and I'm sure that everybody here has been asked, in a few short words, tell us how we can help you today. The thing is, no one really talks in a few short, disjointed words. And as speech has changed and the voice interface has become more accepted, at Avaya, we've integrated Google's voice assistants through Google Cloud's Contact Center artificial intelligence platform. So using conversational IVR, I've got a demonstration for you that I've done on conversational IVR that I've built. Now, it's not a menu structure. It can identify me and it can follow a changing conversation. So I've done a recording for you of it. Now, to make it a real-life situation, I've called it from my car, not in a lab. So there's quite a few distractions as I drive. So I'm just going to play that for you now and have a look at this.
Hey Siri, call Google Test.
Calling Google Test. Welcome to Avaya Airlines. Thanks for calling, Dustin. It looks like you have a flight departing Sydney to Melbourne on the 1st of April 2020. Are you calling about this flight?
No, I'm not.
Sorry, I won't be able to put you through to an agent straight away. Just to let you know, I am a voice assistant like Google Home and Siri, so you can talk to me in full sentences. How can I assist you today?
I'm missing points.
Okay. Was your frequent flyer member number added to your bookings before your flight?
No, it wasn't.
Okay then, that's not a problem. But don't worry, we will lodge a missing points claim. What is your frequent flyer member number?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Which airport did you depart?
Sydney.
And which airport did your flight arrive at?
Melbourne.
And which airport did your flight arrive at?
Melbourne.
Okay, so that frequent flyer member number was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you departed Sydney, arriving at Melbourne?
Yes, that's correct.
Great. I'll send that off to be processed now. It will take up to 14 days for the points to appear on your account. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No, that's all. Thanks very much. Bye.
So I think that's pretty neat. Apart from the fact that I only do left-hand turns, that was a pretty good example. And I'm not a developer, and I've been able to do some coding inside that. And being able to use that conversation, first things happen is, there's an event on. It's been able to look me up based off my phone number. Pretty easy, we all do that. But it's taken that and put it into context. Am I calling about my next flight? It sees I've got a flight. Am I calling about it because there's a disrupt on in the next 48 hours? As I say no, we progress into a different line of questioning. What does it want? And key, I think, with a bot as well is telling, it is a bot, and you can expect to use it just like the other devices in your home. And that's key with our integration with Google. And moving on from there, being able to collect information with long answers, short answers, confirm it and send it back, and actually process an action afterwards is great. Being able to claim missing points in under 2 minutes would be a really good benefit for someone who's a frequent flyer when we get back to that. So that's pretty good how it works in the car, and it's good for that side of things. But what happens, when you need to interact with a contact center agent? So if a customer needs to escalate to a live agent, we use that CCAI or Contact Center Artificial Intelligence platform as well for Avaya IX Agent Advisor. When the customer and agent are talking, the solution will transcribe the conversation in real time, understand the intent of that conversation, and push recommendations as to how to respond to the customer's inquiry to the agent. So this technology is making super agents who are enhanced with relevant information in real time. The information pushed to the agents is then refined and tuned based on the changing conversation between the agent and the customer. The bot, agent, and customer transcription can then be saved into a visual customer journey, which can be used to assist future interactions and used to learn how we can move forward or different approaches. Some of our customers are leading with just the advisor and want to deliver their customers the best service possible, while we've got others with high turnover in staff who see this as a solution that gives them that ability to reduce agent training times and assist them and bring up their onboarding process a lot faster. So we've seen the CX-EX hybrid, the location hybrid, and the human AI hybrid. There's one more element of the emergence on the hybrid workforce to be considered, and that's, really is a purchasing hybrid. So the purchasing model that's been around for a while, it's been changing from perpetual to hosted or cloud over the last few years. But more recently, we've started to see customer demand increase for hybrid models to suit business needs and also where their infrastructure and operations are located. So whether it's perpetual, subscription, or hosted, at Avaya we're actually able to provide that flexible purchasing model, or even a combination and mix of three across the different models to actually suit businesses operationally and financially going forward. So I'm not sure of time, but I think that's my session to present so far complete. It's been great to be able to talk about how Avaya is staying ahead of the curve. I hope you've enjoyed this session and prompted a few thoughts. I have gone over time. Sorry about that. So I'm here in Australia. However, Grant Teague and Nick Evans are here for discussions and demonstrations. So please reach out via email and LinkedIn for any questions or chat. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Dusty. Really appreciate your time. We are over time. We do have a few questions, but we'll get back to you on those via email. Really appreciate everyone's attendance, and I hope the rest of the day goes well. Don't forget to attend our prize giving. You never know your luck.